Hey everyone, it's me again, and I'm here with a review for you today. The super special, super awesome review I've got going on is, as promised, for the Clinique All About Eyeshadow 8-Pan Palette in Wear Everywhere Grays. If you want to see a review and tutorial for the Wear Everywhere Greens palette, just wait until the end of the video and you can click on those embedded little links. They'll open up in a new window and you can watch those videos right after this. Just spam me. Just spam my videos with views. I love it! Let's go ahead and talk about this palette. I'm going to show you swatches and talk about the formulation of these eyeshadows and the pigmentation of these eyeshadows as opposed to the Wear Everywhere Greens palette. And I'm going to tell you if it is worth getting. Wear Everywhere Grays. Now, my story with Wear Everywhere Grays is that I wanted it based on the kind of display model that my exchange store had, but the display model was not for the Wear Everywhere Grays palette. It said it was Wear Everywhere Grays, but they had actually put Neutral Territory 2 in where the Wear Everywhere Grays palette was supposed to be. So I actually got Wear Everywhere Grays not even knowing what the colors were going to look like. I'd seen them online, but I was unable to swatch them in person at the store. So that's not Clinique's fault, that is my exchange store's fault. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. The packaging is exactly the same as the Wear Everywhere Greens palette, same super reflective fingerprint magnet packaging, same absolutely awesome use of space. And here are your colors. It's so hard to show these because the surface is so mirrored. Hopefully you can see that. Here are your colors. There are a lot of gorgeous kind of taupey mauve-y tones in here, and I love that. They say that this palette is good for all eye colors, so it will complement any eye color, and I believe some of the marketing has marketed this as a smoky eyes palette specifically. Let's go to the swatches of each of the colors. First, I'm going to go down the first four, and the first four in this little palette are more, I would say, more wearable. Let's see, there's these first four here. These are the ones I swatched first. And these are definitely the more wearable of the 8 shades. You can kind of sheer them out to create a very natural look. And I used all 4 in the look today. First, we've got the light shade of Seashell Pink / Fawn Satin Duo. So I'm guessing that's called Seashell Pink or Fawn, one of the two. It's that one right there. It's a very neutrally kind of pinky white, not quite white, but like a pinky flesh tone color. Great for use in blending. I used it on the brow bone and to fix my eyeshadow shape today. And it is matte. That is one thing that I will say is an amazing thing about this palette, is that of the 8 shades, 4 of them are matte shades. Bravo, Clinique! Because there are no matte shades in the Wear Everywhere Greens palette. The closest you get is satins. Here there are 4 true matte shades, which is amazing for creating looks and using the palette on its own. Right next door over here we have High Tea. High Tea is amazing. It is a beautiful kind of true taupe color. It's got a bit of a mauve undertone, but it is as true a taupe as it gets pretty much. It's very, very cool toned, perfect for use in the crease, which is how I used it today. I also, kind of used it to blend out the outer V color, and it worked beautifully for that. It is also a truly matte shade, and both of these mattes are very smooth, very pigmented, but not so pigmented that they become hard to control. They're still very blendable, as is the trend with Clinique's eyeshadows. So right next door, right here, we have Mushroom. Mushroom is the 3rd from the left in the palette, and it is the first one that has shimmer. Now this one is classified on here as a super shimmer. I would really call it more of like a soft metallic, if that makes sense. I don't really see a whole lot of out and out glitter in here, but it's very, very subtle. It's a very metallic, creamy shade. Easy to blend. Used it on the lid today, and it does create quite a striking contrast in this particular look, which you'll see a tutorial for next week. And finally, we have the 4th color, which is called Gray Matters. I love that name. This is a beautiful, beautiful, cool toned gray. It's absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, it doesn't look like much in the pan, but I used it to deepen up the outer V today and on the outside of the lower lash line, and it is so beautiful. Blends perfectly. I'm obsessed with this color. These two, Mushroom and Gray Matter, I blended them together on the lower lash line. They blend so beautifully. They create the prettiest color. Ugh, I'm obsessed. And Gray Matter is also described as a true matte. So that is a true matte color. 3 mattes already, and we're halfway through the palette. Sweet. Now we'll go to the last 4. The 5th one here in the palette is Sugarcane, and Sugarcane, again, is a shimmery white eyeshadow. You guys know me. I don't use shimmery white eyeshadows that much. This one I do think has a little bit less glitter in it than the shadow in the Wear Everywhere Greens palette does, so I do find this a little bit easier to work with. But I don't use these colors that much, so I don't know really what I'm gonna do with this. I used it in the inner corners very, very softly today, but that's the only way I can see using this. I just don't use it that much. After Sugarcane, we have Silver Lining. Silver Lining is right here. Silver Lining is one of the most beautiful silvers I have ever run into. This is soft. It's silver, but it's not like, it doesn't make your eyeball look like a kitchen utensil. You know what I mean? It's not like stupid shimmery or stupid metallic. It's got a soft metallic finish, just enough to be striking on the eye. Holy cow, do you see that finish? It's like steel. It's so beautiful. Stormy is like a brown burgundy color. It's got a little bit of gray in it, but not too much. It's gorgeous for, you know, the outer V color, just to smoke things out while still keeping it natural, slightly more natural anyway than Gray Matters down here. I've used this in a different look and it turned out awesomely. It's the burgundy undertones don't really pick up as much on the eye as they do in a swatch, but they do look quite pretty, so there's that. And the last one is called Stroke of Midnight. Now, Stroke of Midnight is a flat matte black. That's pretty much, you know, the gist of things. It's not the blackest black I've ever run into. Like if I compare it side by side with Dark Matter from the Melt Cosmetics Dark Matter stack, it is not even close to being straight black. It's more of a charcoal, but I actually like charcoal blacks for like gray blacks for smoky eyes because they're a lot easier to work with. It's very easy with these inky, pigmented, matte blacks to overdo it. And I feel like with charcoals, you're less likely to kind of overload your eyes with black. So there are all the swatches all grouped up together. You can see there are a lot of beautiful subtle tones in here, and when I first looked at the palette I was like, how am I gonna make this natural? How am I gonna make a neutral look with this that would be wearable for during the day? But it was surprisingly easy because even though these shadows are extremely pigmented, they still can be sheared out, if that makes sense. You can soften them into a very clean, very wearable look. The one thing I will say about this palette that is kind of a negative, if I could have a negative about this palette, is that all of these shadows are very cool in undertone. There are really no warm shades in here. So if cool toned eyeshadows don't tend to flatter your skin, you know, say you have a very warm, very golden undertone to your skin and cool tones tend to not look very good on you, you might want to pass on this palette because it is entirely cool toned. But if you're like me and have a neutral undertone to your skin, or you have a cool undertone to your skin and cool colors look really, really good on you, then this palette is going to be one of your best friends. But yeah, bottom line, on Sephora these sell for $36. To me, they are completely worth it. This one is more suited for kind of smokier looks. It's more difficult to make a natural look with this than it is to make a natural look with the Wear Everywhere Greens palette, but definitely good for somebody who is just foraying into makeup again and looking for a solid smoky palette. You know, maybe you don't need, you know, you find the amount of eyeshadow in the Lorac Pro 2 palette overwhelming and you want something that's kind of a little bit more consolidated, a little more focused in the gray family, then this is a great palette for you. If you're a professional makeup artist and you're looking to build your kit with a lot of grays, then this is a great palette for you. You know, looking for a lot of smoky tones. Again, great palette, beautiful colors, beautiful finish. These swatches are fantastic. It looks stunning on the eyes, I think. I love how this look came out today. And these shadows, again, like I mentioned in the Wear Everywhere Greens review, wear all day, even on my oily ass eyelids. My lids eat eyeshadow, you guys. They eat eyeshadow. Like, my look will be faded before I even finish it. But with the Clinique eyeshadows, they just, it wears all day. It looks exactly the same at the end of the day as it does at the beginning. And I could see this being a pretty versatile palette to work with. More so for combining it with other eyeshadows in your collection than for using it on its own, but it still has a lot of great potential if it's something that you're looking for. I have gotten a question about this because I tend to use taupes and grays with my blue eyes because it tends to make the blue in my blue eyes pop more. So I did get asked which of these palettes, the Wear Everywhere Greens or the Wear Everywhere Grays, go better with blue eyes. Because the Wear Everywhere Greens was marketed for blue eyes, but usually when I'm looking to create a look with blue eyes, I'm using gray, taupey kind of colors or warm coppers. I'm not really using greens a whole lot. That said, both of these palettes do bring out kind of undertones in blue eyes, if that makes sense. They both flatter blue eyes, they just flatter blue eyes differently. I think that, at least for this particular instance, the Wear Everywhere Grays palette does make the blue in my eyes come forward a little more, whereas the Wear Everywhere Greens palette brings out the green in my eyes a little more because, like I said, my eyes are not just flat blue. They are blue, green, gold, hazel eyes. So depending on what eyeshadow colors I'm wearing, they're gonna look a little bit different. And I'm not exactly a good example to follow when it comes to whether or not something is gonna be flattering on straight blue eyes. Now, I could see personally, at least from my experience working with different eyeshadows and seeing different eyeshadows on straight blue eyes, I could see the taupes and the grays working a lot better to bring out the blue in your blue eyes because they're a lot cooler toned and blue is a naturally cool color. So it's just gonna make them pop just a little bit more. But if you're looking for something more springtime, more light, more airy, then you might wanna go for the Wear Everywhere Greens palette. They both flatter blue eyes just in different ways. And you can go to my Instagram. I'm gonna put it right here. If you want to see pictures of me wearing both palettes, I do have selfies that I put up wearing both the Wear Everywhere Greens palette and the Wear Everywhere Grays palette, and my eyes are completely visible in both of those, so you can see for yourself kind of what I'm talking about with how each of these palettes brings out different tones in blue eyes, and you can decide for yourself which one will work best for you. But that about does it for this review. Long story short, these shadows are amazing. They're pigmented, they're long wearing, they're, you know, so easy to blend. Some of the easiest to blend eyeshadows I've ever worked with, and both palettes can have a place in a person's collection. I would say the Wear Everywhere Greens palette is a lot more wearable for all different skin tones, whereas with the Wear Everywhere Grays palette, this is really only for people who work well with cool undertones. So I know I'm really glad I have it. It's been very fun to play with, and I think it's definitely worth the money. So, hey guys, sorry about that. My camera once again died. You know the drill. Alright, but I just wanted to film a quick outro for you guys. I really hope you found these reviews helpful and they've helped you decide which of these palettes is right for you. Go ahead and leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. It helps me out a whole awful lot. And leave a comment and let me know what products you want me to review next. What do you want to see? What kind of tutorials do you want to see? Just leave me some suggestions in the comments below. I'm always looking to assist you guys with all of your makeup application needs. So yeah, leave those comments, leave that love, hit that subscribe button, and become one of the faithful today. And I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles!